Are you weird? Now, I know that's a bit of a weird question to start a conversation with, but are you weird? I am. I think that I've spent my whole life being a bit of a wacky guy. I think that you're probably weird for watching a video titled, well, this. But then again, I think everyone is a little bit weird. Maybe some more than others, but I still think that's true. But is there anything wrong with being a little bit wacky, a little cuckoo in the head? No, actually. And I want to explain myself while also looking at the great story that is My Dress Up Darling. Now, I know the name kind of puts you off. It sounds like a mid 2000s Barbie ripoff, but I swear it's really good. So, what's it about? Why should I be talking about this manga? Well, I will say that the reason that I started this manga and the reason that I'm still reading it is a little bit different. On the surface, this is a good looking manga that features a cute girl and the doki doki type of romance you can only get in manga and anime. But on a deeper level, I think this is a really good manga for looking at weird people. You see, the manga follows our male lead, Wakana Gojou, a high school student that is pretty quiet and keeps to himself most of the time. But the thing is, Gojo has some very interesting hobbies. These hobbies include making, appreciating, and talking to Hina dolls. His goal in life is to become a Kashirashi, who are the skilled artisans that craft these Hina dolls. I think we can objectively say that Wakana Gojo is a pretty weird guy who has a weird hobby. Good? We can agree? Nice. Now let's look at Kitagawa Marin, the female lead and top tier Genki girl. Kitagawa is a popular girl who spends a lot of time with and around her friends. First impression puts her somewhere between the peppy Gyaru and the rich, mean girl. While she is rich, she isn't that mean, and she's also very Genki, but not very much of a Gyaru. She does have a bit of a quirk, though, something that sets her a bit apart from the rest of her classmates. Kitagawa Marin is really into cosplay. Despite not being the best at it, she is very passionate about doing it, which you could say is a bit odd. It's one thing to like and adore a character in a game or anime, but to want to become them is a bit weird. So then, where does that leave us? A guy who has a weird hobby and a girl who has a weird hobby. Just to sum it up quickly. But there is one thing to note between these two, and it's mainly how differently weird they are. Okay, that might not make sense when you say it like that, but let me stretch out the TLDR. Wakana Gojo is somebody who hides the hobby that he has. A lot of people do this for many different reasons, but the main idea is that they don't want other people knowing what they do. In Gojo's case, he is hiding away the hobby purely out of fear of being ostracized, which he makes a reasonable case for. An experience that he had as a child had kind of scarred him. An experience in which somebody had told him it was weird that he was a boy and was into making dolls. And from that day on, he kind of has it stuck in his head that he's a little bit weird. He exclaims multiple times that he wishes he could live a life where he doesn't have to hide, and that he can finally be comfortable. But there is something stopping him from just quitting doll making and living a normal life. It's his passion. His love for the art overrides his want to live a normal and comfortable life. Passion is one of the best double edged swords that the human mind can get up to. You see, it does this weird thing where it tunnel visions all of our thoughts into one topic, which is great. It means that you like that thing and are willing to donate time and potentially money to that thing. But there's also a downside to it. What could be seen as personal interest often comes back to bite us in the butt when it comes to social interactions. And Gojo is the largest victim of this dichotomy. Where Gojo has such an interest in the making of Hina dolls, there are not many people around him, aside from his grandpa, that actually share that interest. His passion for the Hina dolls is great. He has a plan for his life and knows what to do in order to get there. But also, he fails to start any sort of friendship because he feels he is so different from the other people. He thinks that he is weird. Now then, what is the opposite of hiding your hobbies? Well, it is obviously the oversharing of your hobby and telling everyone around you what you are interested in. And this wouldn't be a romantic comedy without two polar opposite leads, because Kitagawa Marin is exactly that. Now, she isn't the person to stand on the table and proudly proclaim her love for cosplay. That would be a little odd. But she is the type of person to defend and tell other people around her about the things that she loves. Like I said, the complete opposite of our doll maker Gojou. Marin's loud and proud attitude isn't without its faults either. As nice as it is to be able to talk about what you love, there are certain situations where that passion can start to push people away. In order to get the full picture of this, I think we need to look at an extreme case. Remember that hypothetical person I was talking about that was standing on the table and loudly exclaiming the things that they love? How would you feel if that person were to do that in your classroom or at your workplace? You'd probably want to avoid that person at all costs because they are way too invested into one thing to be considered normal. And while that is an extreme case, a lot of the same things apply to Marin. There are friends and relationships she may lose because of how loud she exclaims her passions. Even though she is so personable in sharing her hobbies with the world, she is still a bit weird. Two sides of the same coin. The two sides of being weird. These two people are so different in how they interact with the people around them, but ultimately they both have a similarity of having a weird hobby. Now, if you haven't figured it out already, I've spent this entire time just trying to tell you how weird these characters are. But why do I keep coming back to this manga? What is driving me to read every single chapter that comes out? Well, it's because these characters are so interesting. And I think it goes beyond how the characters are written, it goes into the structure of these characters themselves. I love Gojo as a character because of his interactions with Marin and how he grows into a character that is more open about sharing the things that he loves. But I'd argue the reason I like Gojo the most is because of that weirdness, the socially awkward side that isn't too sure how to talk to people. The same goes for Marin. While I really enjoy her happy attitude and fun way of talking, the thing I enjoy most is how weird she is about cosplay. Watching these characters start off being weird alone and then slowly grow into characters that share their weirdness together is heartwarming. And that brings me to my final and arguably most important point of this video. Being weird is a trait that is found in absolutely everybody. While yes, some people are more weird than others, everyone is still weird. Being weird alone means that you will never be able to talk about the things you love. By putting barriers around yourself, you make yourself even more different from the people around you. And often you'll get it stuck in your head that it's bad to be weird. Being able to share and talk about the things you love gives you a serotonin boost like no other, and I think that all of you should do the same thing. Do you have a weird hobby? Tell people. Maybe somewhere out there, there's somebody else waiting to talk about that exact same thing. So then, are you weird? I hope that nobody watching this considers themselves to be normal. I know that I'm not normal. In fact, I love being weird. So let's be weird together. My name is Zulu, but you'll remember me as a random guy on the internet. Thank you for sticking with me. See ya.